Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing this August the 12th, 2025, noontime daily cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, gold and silver bullion video. Bell notification, comment down below, like the channel and share to continue to spread and infiltrate more and a bigger audience the movement of truth, trust, education, and information as we become asset millionaires together, right? If we look at what's going on real quick here, I'm on my lunchtime break. I want to get on into this real quick. And of course, now that I want to get onto this, all of a sudden, nothing can work on here. Key factors: BTC, Bitcoin ETFs gaining traction. BlackRock iShares Bitcoin Trust attracting over $57.4 billion, and Fidelity-Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund brings in $12.1 billion in inflows. If we scan some of the news, crypto captures half of the top 20 spots in ETF launch since 2024. Toronto Stock Exchange, nobody cares. 6 Mining reveals the top Bitcoin mining secret. Metaplanet Smarter Web adds almost 100 million in Bitcoin treasuries. Ethereum rally fuels new wave of passive income with winner mining. ARK Invest buys 19 million of Jack Dorsey's Jack Dorsey's block as stock tumbles to $73. What is that? Jack Dorsey Financial Service Company block after prolonged sell-off. The acquisition comes as block seeing a notable uptrend, surging 8% in the last 30 days, according to trading volume. I don't know what's up with what any of that is. We'll look at that. But let's get into some of the charts before I meander this whole time I have away. If we look at the daily time frame, we'll look at more of a wider picture and see where we're at. And we all know where we're at with the full screen, is we've been in this rising channel with the Bitcoin price for quite some time. And you can see it's this rising channel. We've been in ever since the end of 2023, if we kept scrolling a little bit farther that way. And then upper resistance, lower support, upper resistance, lower support, attempted breakout back to attempted hold up breakout, couldn't, fails, it falls back all the way to lower support, rides up lower support, has another phenomenal pump all the way up to upper resistance, and then it does the same thing all over again. It went from upper resistance to lower support. Now we've just been, ever since about March, just sneaking up the upper resistance, almost like a step down pattern, where the first one you overshot it back here in March of 24, the second one you came up to upper resistance in November of 24 but couldn't get any higher, and then the third one you couldn't get off but the bottom 25% of the lower support, and then now you're just trading right along it. So this is very interesting. That's where we're at now. Ever since then, it almost looks like the step down, where it doesn't come quite as high and it's having a harder and harder time going, and it's more of slithering than pumping, right? So, but the upper resistance, now that you know that that's what we're in with the overall macro pattern, the upper resistance is obviously the top part of this rising channel, which is near that 155 target up there. If it continues to break to the upside, which we're again threatening to try to break the all-time high of 123,000 and change set back in late June, early July. That's what we're trying to do. Right now, we fulfilled the move back up from this little mini drop that we had, right? Buying opportunity, I guess you could say. A little, and then it came back up. Now, if it continues to pump, it can breach that high. You're looking at a 140 to 155 target up there. If it comes down, obviously, the moving average is it bounced off the 50. So if it comes down to the 50 again, you would expect it to break it and come back and retest the 100-day moving average, which is sneaking just along the uptrending pattern support of the major lower support, right? So that's what we're watching down there at 110,000. And then for any reason out in the future, if this ever did breach this, your major underneath support is the 97,264. And obviously, if this ever did, say it just slipped like this, slipped below there on a fake out, it would touch the 200-day and then quickly bounce back like that, because that's how the patterns in the computer algorithm works. And that's really what we need to start breaking into on the daily charts when we look at them. And we're going to start breaking this down and thinking about it more like, what would the computer do and the algorithmic trading in order to slaughter anybody that's trying to day trade or leverage trade or trying to swing trade. we're going to start looking at more what would make sense, not from a trading point, but from an algorithmic AI trading bots that they use to buy and sell to move the market, right? That's why something can sell this hard, that quick, and then just like clockwork just start pumping right after, right? Because it's moving and facilitating emotional movement on people that are sitting there trying to gamble on some of these trading sites using leverage, right? So that's what we're going to look at. If we scroll into the Ethereum, we can see Ethereum is much above now the neckline resistance of the megaphone. It's going up to 48.33 like we said, and it's got a $10,000 target. What's likely to happen though is if you continue straight up into, I believe this is the old all-time high, you could have a big correction back down to the megaphone neckline support now, and then that's what you would hold. It doesn't have to come all the way back down, but it could hit the uptrending. Now the 50 is much below it. And that's what you would do, and then you would tap it, confirm it. That is the all-time high. No, it's not. The all-time high is slightly higher than that. It's back here at 48.26. That is the all-time high. Then you would come back down to the megaphone neckline, confirm it, and then that's what would more than likely send you to $10,000 because that is your technical target. And that's something that we're going to be watching out for as we run into this 48.33 all-time high. Do we have that slight rejection like you would expect? And then we'll follow that through. The XLM is just in the same spot. It's sitting there just above the 43 cents. We know what the current technical analysis, as long as you're above the 43 cents, it's been the same thing ever since the recent top on July the 15th. If you're above the 43 cents, you can make a run at 55. You slip below the 43 cents, it wants to act like a magnet down to, which was at one point the 50-day moving average, but the top part of this green support box and resistance box, but it would be support because you're falling at it from above, sitting right there at 36 cents. It hit it, it bounced off it like it should. Now it started, and it got just above the 43 cents. It fought through it, but now it's sitting on it again. So you either need to hold it, and in that case, you would bounce up to 52 cents at first, and more than likely the 55. If you slip it, you're going to come down to the 50, slip it, come down to the support level on the green trading box, and likely slip that and come on down to about the 100-day moving average, or potentially an uptrending at the time now and a few days into the future, a 200-day moving average, right? So that's what you're looking at in the XLM. The XRP is the same thing. It's in the exact same formation. They seem to run the same formations, just at a different price level. You can see ever since here on the 18th, it's ran sideways. We came to this 307, and then it slipped that, and we told you it would act like a magnet down to 255, but the moving average is underneath it, acting as initial support. It hit the 50, bounced up, got back above the 307. Now it's sitting just above the 307, and again, as long as you're above the 307 and can hold it, 366 is where you make your next run up to, right? But if you slip below it, this time in the XRP, you're likely to come down to the 255 level. And if you look it out at in the daily time frame here, before I let you guys go, eventually I got that $5.55 or $5.50 target. I think next year, you can see our tracks show that. I think next year you're going to hit $5 in XRP, and then potentially a few years later, going closer to 2030, you could have the cycle peak of $12.30. But I think a $4 to $7 target, a $4.75 to $7.75, somewhere in there is where the price is going to lie, closer towards the top end of that by the end of next year. I think we'll continue to watch it and continue to analyze what's going on in the daily market as institutions continue to buy, adoption continues to expand, regulatory clarity continues to happen, and it's very exciting times for the cryptocurrency sphere with the coins that are getting all of the hype and momentum in the ETF. And we're going to get into more of with the importance of the executive order allowing crypto in the 401ks. We'll talk about that tonight. Peace and love. Direct Eyebrow, Jay.